us celebrate our happy, happy loves. In these delightful pleasant groves, in these delightful pleasant groves, let us celebrate, let us celebrate, let us celebrate our happy, happy loves. Let's pipe, pipe and dance. Let's pipe, pipe and dance. Dance and love, 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 laugh and sing. Thus, every happy, happy living thing. In the cheerful spring. In the cheerful spring.
Good morning. Good morning. Yay, we're in the house. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. It is so good to be together. It is so good to fill this space with your spirit. Create the flame in our chalice. Welcome, 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 everybody. My name is Joan Montagnes, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving this congregation as minister. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. We are blessed to be here together, and we acknowledge that we gather here to be inspired and transformed on the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee people. We begin our time together by acknowledging and honoring the sovereignty of the 6 nations, the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Seneca, and Tuscarora. We acknowledge the Haudenosaunee and their lands and waterways which surround us. In this acknowledgement, we hope to demonstrate respect for the treaties that were made on these territories and the harms and mistakes of the far and recent past. We commit to live into better partnership with the 6 nations and all Indigenous people in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Welcome all. Today, we are joined by guest vocalist Alex MacArthur, who will be singing with the alto section, there she is, as well as sharing a special solo at the end. As a reminder, Alex will be our casual concert star in November, so mark your calendars. And you also want to mark your calendars for next week. Next week, 2 o'clock, right here, I think, or outside, right here? Outside. We're going to have an outside casual concert. How much fun will that be? The Bitter Nasties. So come and rock with Helen and Paul Zanoli. Helen Lowry and Paul Zanoli. Let's get that straight. No rumors started here. Next Saturday, 2 o'clock on the lawn. Rock down with the Bitter Nasties.
Good morning. My name's Bill Park. I'm honored to be your worship associate this morning. I have a direct message, a DM for you. As you know, our beloved Reverend Joan is departing soon. Before she leaves, we look forward to a farewell bash to recognize all she has done for us. On Sundays, starting today through July 2nd, after church in the parish hall, there will be a table for people to sign up in various ways to help out with the party. On the table, you'll find sign-up sheets to bring food, help with setup and cleanup, and offer a spoken tribute to Reverend Joan during the program preceding the lunch. There'll be a box to collect pictures of Reverend Joan, and there'll be a keepsake blank book in which we hope many people of all ages will write messages of gratitude and farewell to Reverend Joan. Also, save the date to attend the party, July 9th, after church, and let's make this party a success. Thank you.
Next week, we've got a big service. It's the last service of our regular church year. We are going to continue on into the summer with some fantastic worship services. But next service is next week, next Sunday, Flower Communion. Yay! So much fun. So bring a flower or a bunch of flowers to church on Sunday. Don't worry, we don't eat the flowers, but we do share them in a living communion. So bring a flower to church. We also are doing some other exciting stuff. We are going to have another child dedication, yay, and we're going to be bridging our youth, or our youth will be bridging, and we will be blessing them in that as they enter into young adulthood. So come out for those important times. High holidays in our calendar. I think that's probably adequate. The rest of the announcements that are fit to print are in your order of service. And right now, one of the ways we build community and do all those great and groovy things is we greet our neighbors. So say hello to someone you might not even know. I gotta go talk to the dedication family.
On the table before me, like a tarot reading, are 4 purple flowers, all of them collected on the 5-minute walk from my house to my office. Now, let me give you a little introduction. Poet Ross Gay spent a year opening his mind and heart to the delights which exist everywhere in plain sight. And so one morning, much like this one, he wrote, "On the table before me like a tarot reading, are 4 purple flowers, all of them collected on the 5-minute walk from my house to my office. To the far left is a purple butterfly, a violet. Next to that is some type of mint that comes up this time of year and makes a kind of pyramid of leaves, a steeple of leaves with the purple parishioners peeking out, the parishioners being the flowers and pouty ones. Next to that is an ivy whose purple petals yearn open, bearing their tonsils. And to the far end of the quartet is a lilac flower, or flowers, as there are at least 21 open blooms on this stem. These tiny flowers are cornets of fragrance, the cornets of spring. Come, let us open ourselves to delight. Come, let us worship. We gather in loving community, creating a shared vision of compassion and dignity for all to radically transform the world in which we live. Thank you.
We have set aside a time in our worship service to welcome a new child into the world. So I invite the Palatino Sada family and all of the child's godparents and mentors to come and join me here. Come on. There's this giant crowd of you. You know who you are. Beatrice, Alex, Vince, Kendall, Rocco, Cole, Anastasia, Aurora, Sierra, Leanne, and family, Lisa, Laura, Natasha, and Jen, and Ruby. And Dee Dee. And actually, if you guys, you two could, yeah, Dave and Susie, if you could stand over here so I can, and the rest of y'all over there, the masses of you. Come on, you know who you are. All right, we got that. Should we all be so lucky, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. These are the godparents. All right. Yep.
Yeah, you guys can all come up.
So is this all?
You guys can all come up because you can't see, so is that all right?
Yeah, unless, is there any pushing back any further over there so everybody can see? You don't have your backs to anybody. Is there any possibility of that? All right, we're going to try and get this choreography. Move on. Move on. Come on. Face the congregation. You could do this. All y'alls. Oh, my Lord. I need to be here. Okay, good. I think we can do this. And we have a piano. So, every child is full of love and hope and potential. From the beginning of time, men and women have brought their children to the community for recognition and dedication. In the presence of those gathered, the child is given a name, and the parents declare their responsibility for the child. In response, the community also dedicates itself to the life of the child, offering tender love and firm guidance. The community reminds each of its members that we hold one another in love throughout our days. Suzanne and David, what name do you give this child?
Julian Lee Platino Seda.
Julian Lee Platino Seda. Yeah, that's you. We welcome you. This is your name. You are unique. There is no one else like you in the entire world. Your parents and family welcome you. We give you this rose, different from every other rose in the world, to symbolize your uniqueness. Water is the stuff of life, and it connects all living things, all of humanity. We dip your rose in water to symbolize your essential connection with all of us and the entire universe. Julian, this rose touches your brow that you may grow in wisdom and understanding, touches your mouth that you may taste the sweetness in life, touches your heart that you may love abundantly, touches your hands, 1 and 2, that you may find ways to minister to the world. And I think you've already got to start. Touches your feet, whoop, whoop, that you may find your own path through life. And I will hand this to you to hold. Suzanne and David, do you promise to raise Julian to the best of your ability, to listen as well as teach, to balance his safety with his freedom to explore, to nurture his physical and emotional and spiritual life, to seek support from your community who love you and your family? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
For the mentors and godparents, Beatrice, Alex, Vince, Kendall, Rocco, Cole, Anastasia, Aurora, Sierra, Lee, and Leanne and your family, Natasha, Lisa, and Avi. Is that everybody?
There was more.
There are more. You know who you are. You all been chosen as godparents and mentors. This is an important role, for every child needs adults other than their parents in whom they can trust. Do you dedicate yourself to Julian's best interests and to help him as he travels the path to adulthood? If so, please say, I do. This is a vow for the family and soul family, if there are more of you out there. If you would like to rise, are there more of you out there? Yeah, if you would like to rise, there you are. I ask you, the family and soul family of baby Julian and his parents, will you delight in Julian's joys and share in his sorrows? Will you promise to be available for Julian and his parents in the journeys and adventures ahead, and promise to be loving presence in their lives? If so, please say, I do. This couple has come to our congregation for support. Do you, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, affirm Suzanne, David, and Julian as a family? Do you promise to create a safe environment for Julian where he can begin his free and responsible search for truth and meaning? Will you help him learn the true value of life? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
Julian, Lee, Palatino, Seda, in the name of all that is sacred, we dedicate ourselves to you. In the coming years, may you always know that you are blessed. May you know that you are a blessing. And remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen. Okay, thank you. Let's join in singing hymn number 409 in your gray hymnal, Sleep, My Child.
Every week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are supporting the good work of GLYS of Western New York. And here's Jack Kavanaugh to tell us all about it. Jack?
Thank you, Bill. Most of you, I think, know me. If not, I've been a member here for 20 years, former board chair, youth group, all that fun stuff. But my day job is the executive director of GLYS. GLYS for the past 40 years has provided support and resources for LGBTQ young people throughout Western New York. It's always been critically important work. I think, unfortunately, it has become even more critically important than ever before. Unfortunately, you know, I was just saying to someone the other day, we get calls all the time from people that are moving here from other states to keep their kids safe, to keep themselves safe, and especially our trans and non-binary loved ones. The world is unfortunately increasingly unsafe. And so the work that we do is really to create supportive community and supportive networks for LGBTQ young people. So we do drop-in programming, we provide a lot of support to schools, we do conferences, we serve about 1,000 young people every year. We just had a fun queer pride prom. Last week, we had almost 300 young people there for that. If you were lucky enough last week to get to see the parade instead of having to be in it, which is fun on its own, but sometimes I wish I could actually watch the whole thing, then you would have seen about 200 high school students leading off the parade that we help organize and work with as well. So, I think it's really important for our work to be able to build out stronger communities everywhere. And so the support of, folks like you and communities like this to work on creating spaces where particularly trans young people can feel safe and welcomed and seen and heard is critically important. And unfortunately more so now than ever. So, we've been around for 40 years. We're going to be around for 40 more. And, every bit of support really helps. So thank you very much.
To support our Share the Plate ministry, you can drop a check or cash in the offering plate. You can use PayPal by going to our website. You can send a check to the church through the mail, or you can arrange a regular automatic deposit with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write share on the memo line, and it will be shared between GLYS and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write Pledge 2023 on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line. What a delightful way to share our blessings. From the Book of Delights by Ross Gay. I came up with a handful of rules. Write a delight every day for a year. Begin and end on my birthday, August 1st. Draft them quickly and write them by hand. The rules made it a discipline for me, a practice. Spend time thinking and writing about delight every day. Because I was writing these essayettes pretty much daily, confession, I skip some days, patterns and themes and concerns show up. For instance, I traveled quite a bit this year. I often write in cafes. My mother is often on my mind. Racism is often on my mind. Kindness is often on my mind. Politics, pop music, books, dreams, public space. My garden is often on my mind. It didn't take me long to learn that the discipline or practice of writing these essays occasioned a kind of delight radar. Or maybe it was more like the development of a delight muscle. something that implies that the more you study delight, the more delight there is to study. A month or two into this project, delights were calling to me, write about me, write about me. Because it is rude not to acknowledge your delights, I'd tell them that though they might not become essayettes, they were still important, and I was grateful to them. Which is to say, I felt my life to be more full of delight, not without sorrow or fear or pain or loss, but more full of delight. I also learned this year that my delight grows, much like love and joy, when I share it.
Let's join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, meditation, and reflection in, that one's yours. By reflecting on a poem by Mary Oliver entitled Mindful. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these, the untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass? Let us open our hearts filled with sorrow and loss and fear. Let us open our aching hearts with gratitude for all the delightful blessings in this world, nevertheless. We especially hold in our hearts today those affected by the mass shootings this week, survivors, families, and communities in Jackson, Mississippi, Richmond, Virginia, Sacramento, California, North Charleston, North Carolina, Jeanette, Pennsylvania, San Francisco, California, Oak Park, Illinois, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Houston, Texas. We also hold in our hearts the friends and family of Evan Lowry, son of Rita Capizzi and Jeff Lowry, brother of Helen Lowry. Evan was diagnosed with a brain tumor this week, probably benign, surgery on Monday. They ask for our prayers. And we hold in our heart the family of Caitlin Steinberg, who are celebrating the birth of a new cousin. And now let us open our sanctuary of memory, caring, accountability, and hope to the names of our loved ones, celebrating in joy and suffering in sorrow, each name a breath, each breath a prayer. The breath of nature is upon us. The Spirit of life is among us. The community of love is among us. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. My heart has been clenched like a fist for, it seems, years. And every day, the cold constriction of despair just seems to bind my beating soul more firmly. Each bombing or assassination and loss of life to seek revenge or to gain power, each mass shooting, each time the big lie and all those little lies are promoted, each refugee refused welcome. Every day, the fist in my heart tightens its grip. Each earthquake, each train wreck. Some days I can barely breathe for worry, for concern, for sorrow, for fear of the picayune trials and tribulations of the hour, the moment, of a snide remark, of a lost friendship, of a broken trust, of anxiety for the future. Climate crises, mass incarceration, unabashed haters and bashers and trolls. I've been tied to my phone, hunched over my phone, hour after hour, obsessively checking for news of whatever fresh hell is crashing down. My heart has been clenched like a fist for so long, I feel like it will either explode or turn to stone. My heart is clenched so tightly that some days I need to use every ounce of strength I have to slow down. Take a deep breath. Pay attention and force my heart, even for a moment, to beat freely. It has become a discipline, a spiritual discipline. It's become a discipline to open my soul just a little to fresh breeze, to velvet night, to glint on bird wing. In these days of so much pain, to pry open the fist in the center of my being, to open myself to the world, it has become a life-saving discipline, a discipline to refuse to close myself off to delight. It's not easy. It's not easy, is it? This opening yourself to the world. Most of us have been around long enough to feel an understandable caution about just about everything. Once bitten, twice shy. But the truth of the matter is that most things don't bite. Some do. Most things don't bite, but some do. Some bite big time. But that little tomato plant over there in your neighbor's garden, it is simply begging you to welcome its shaggy leaves and little yellow blossoms into your being. For the sake of your soul, delight in it. Delight in that little tomato plant. Why not? What blessings can be found on that 5-minute walk from your home to the office, or from the first moment that you take that sip of morning coffee to the taste of the last drop, or as you allow yourself to share laughter with a friend or with a stranger for that matter. What blessings are out there lying in plain sight, ready to fill you with pleasure?
And if you want to get theological about this, anybody want to get theological about this? Look no further than the words of Alice Walker. She wrote in her book, The Color Purple, a scripture of sorts. She wrote, I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and don't notice it. People think pleasing God is all God cares about. But any fool living in the world can see it always trying to please us back. It is almost rude not to acknowledge delight, to be so hunched over, so collapsed into your broken heart that you leave no room for grace. Slow down. Breathe deep. Get attention. Taste, touch, smell, see, listen. Be curious and wonder at the world. Discover and let delight lift you into greater life. Let each blessing know it is important. Welcome it into your heart. Feel full body gratitude. It is a discipline to open that tightness in your chest. It might be difficult at first, scary, maybe. But I have found that if I dare to slow down, breathe deeply, pay attention, and open myself to wonder, on a good day, I have found that I feel my life slowly fill with delight. Not that I am without sorrow or loss or fear or pain. I am all of that. But I am also more full of delight. And I've also found that when my delight grows, that my delight grows even larger still when I share it. Sometimes when the world is too much with me, bearing down too much upon me, I remember a childhood friend telling me that we are placed on earth primarily to amuse ourselves. And in spite of myself and all the sadness, I smile. We are placed on earth primarily to amuse ourselves. Slow down. Breathe deeply. Pay attention. Open yourself in wonder and curiosity. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight. I mean, who wasn't nearly killed with delight when we dedicated ourselves to baby Julian this morning, allowing a new and precious life into our hearts, taking in all that beauty and love and vulnerability. This is what I was born for, to look, to listen, to pay attention, to lose myself in this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. And I'm not talking about only the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant. But of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations, the litter in the wake of the Pride Parade, patina on old wood, the smell of spaghetti, crossing guards and children, The sound that bubbles make when they're sparkling in a soda can. Gravel that in the right light mirrors the sun. If I am brave and do not give in to that clutching in my soul, if I do not allow fear to win, I can find delight just about anywhere. It could be that there is sort of a delight muscle. The more you study delight, the more delight there is to study. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself. How can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made of grass. Slow down. Breathe deeply. Open yourself to curiosity and wonder in the world. Allow all these delightful blessings to fill your being and rejoice. Let's sing. Hymn number 1024 in your teal hymnal. You got to do when the Spirit says do.
When the Spirit says do, you got to
Please remain standing as we extinguish the chalice. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
Be where you are, open to what's before you. Witness the delight that is everywhere and share it. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen.
The night is young, the skies are clear, and if you wanna go walking, dear, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. Well, I understand why you're sentimental, the reason why you get so sentimental. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. You can tell what a swell night this is from romance. You can hear Mother Nature murmuring low. Let yourself go, so please be sweet, my chickadee. And when I kiss you, just say to me, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's delectable, it's delirious, it's dilemma, it's the limit, it's deluxe, it's delightful. You can tell at a glance what a swell night this is for romance. Oh, you can hear dear Mother Nature murmuring low to let yourself go, so please be sweet, my chickadee. And when I kiss you, you say to me, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's delectable, it's delirious, it's dilemma, it's delicious.